Yes, ma'am, you are audible. Pranam, ma'am.
Right. So let us start with the prayer. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, friend, beloved God, great masters of Kriya Yoga, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswar Ji, beloved Gurudev, Paramhansa Yogananda Ji, saints and sages of all religions, dear friend and guide Swami Kriyananda, humbly we bow at thy feet. Dear Master, be with us here today. Help us to tune into thy consciousness, thy guidance, thy teachings. Help us to tune into thy joy. May we always live our lives in constant remembrance of thee, and always remembering that this is not our home. We are just travelers passing through this. Our home is with God. We are all sons of God. Bring us home. Introduce us to God. Om Shanti Shanti. Let's start with a chant. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am
रखा है, हरा वाले उसमें डब्बे में रखा है।
Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Closing our eyes, gazing up at the point between the eyebrows, absorbing the words of this chant into our entire being, calling out to God, to gurus, inviting them into our hearts, into our entire being, offering ourselves in complete surrender at their feet, at the feet of the Guru, at the feet of the Infinite. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So Swami Kriyananda, after a lot of quest, is finally with his Guru at his ashram. It's completely new. He's not even read the lessons. So it's like, like many of us, when we have walked into Ananda and, not really having gone through many other paths, very new, not really understanding, but very eager, having that complete faith of what did Master say. Yet, as Swami Kriyananda said, that when he read Autobiography of a Yogi, here is one young intellectual boy, 22 years old. He reads Autobiography of a Yogi, 8th page. He says that, it says, Lahiri Mahashaya manifested, suddenly when his Mukunda's father and his assistant were walking on the edge of the field, he manifested. He spoke and then he just disappeared. He said, my intellectual brain couldn't take it, but something in me told that, the author of this book is telling the truth. So he said, I kept keeping them on a shelf. He said, and throughout the book, there were a lot of things I kept on the shelf. So, and here again, he didn't, once he joined, he didn't really meet Master that often. So it was through other brother monks who were there that he was getting a lot of information. And then he started discerning. It is very important when we are on this path. It is very important because there is a lot of, and especially now that we are in an age where there is a lot available online. So even if, we go and see what Yogananda has said or Swami Kriyananda has said on a particular subject, what happens is we are bombarded with all the other information also. So it's always very good to refer back, because for us, this is our path, this is the Guru, and what this Guru has given is for his line of disciples, right? Every Guru, all paths lead to the same truth, right? But for each one of us, we just have to catch hold of one line and then, start walking. We can't catch hold of multiple lines. And, if you want to climb the Mount Everest, what do? They lay a line. You catch that and keep going forward. You can't do multiple. So that is exactly what we need to do on this path also. Just hold on to one line and keep going forward. So any topic that we are curious about, and of course, we are bombarded with information, always good to, as Swami Kriyananda, even in those when he was new, he says that when Boone, one of the brother monks, would keep telling him a lot of things, at some point Swami Kriyananda would start asking, did Master say that? And if Boone said yes, Master said that, he would take it. And if he said no, it's not from Master, he wouldn't take it. So it is very it's a very good thing to hold on to for each one of us. Did Master say that? Or any topic, what did Master say? I mean, Yogananda has said so much. And in fact, he said, even if you do 2% or 1%, I think, of what I have said, you will find God. Right? So he has given, at a time when the world was not aware of a lot of things that they are now discovering, Yogananda had given. So it's good to keep referring back to what did my Guru say on this topic, right? So here he then finds out a lot of things that Yogananda has said. There were a lot of gems that we realized from the last part of this chapter. So let us listen to to this reading by Swami Kriyananda to the rest of the chapter, and then we will discuss.
Come here. Now he has become one of us. Members, lay and renunciate alike, smiled at me in blessing. Walter was the name Master called me ever thereafter. No one else used this name until, after Master's earthly passing, I longed for every possible reminder of those precious years with him. I then asked my brothers and sisters on the path to call me by that name. Master spent the next few days at Mount Washington. During this period I saw him several times, though not privately. Indeed, such was my inner turmoil caused by this drastic change in my life, that I doubt whether another private interview with him at this time would have helped me very much. For Master's part, he probably was waiting for me to assimilate the instructions he had given me at our first meeting. A few days before Master's return to Mount Washington, Norman had talked me into joining him in what is known to health faddists as the grape cure, a diet of only grapes and grape juice. A few weeks of this cure would, Norman assured me, purify my body and help me to make rapid progress in the spiritual life. Master saw us that Monday morning. "Devotion is the greatest purifier," he remarked, smiling. "Is it your wish then, sir, that we break this fast?" I asked him. "Well, I don't want you to break your will, now that you have set it this way. But your time would be better spent in working to develop devotion. A pure heart is the way to God, not a pure stomach." Heeding his counsel, I soon lost heart for the grape cure, though I continued it another day or two, so as, in his words, not to break my will. It wasn't long, however, before I took up the infinitely more rewarding, though also far more demanding task of deepening my love for God, by chanting and holding constantly to the thought of God's presence in my heart. Mental habits, alas, are not so easy to change as to think about changing them. Months passed before I felt that I had made substantial progress against my years-old tendency to over-intellectualize. Master, seeing my desire, helped me from the start with constant encouragement and advice. "Get devotion," he would tell me. "You must have devotion. Remember what Jesus said." Here he paraphrased the words of the Gospel. "Thou dost not reveal thyself unto the prudent and the wise, but unto babes." Swami Sri Yukteswar, a saint of wisdom if ever such existed, and one, therefore, so people might think, more likely than most to endorse intellectual attitudes, said that love alone fits a person for the spiritual path. In his book, The Holy Science, he wrote, "This heart's natural love is the principal thing to attain a holy life. It is impossible for man to advance a step towards salvation without it." The present age, alas, perhaps even more than most, affords all too little encouragement for developing the all-surrendering love which saints have ever praised. Mawkish sentimentalism is the common judgment on deep, positive feelings of any kind. Indeed, an unfeeling heart is often taken as evidence of a, quote, scientific outlook. In truth, however, without love no one can penetrate deeply to the center of things, which is often described with unconscious wisdom as their heart. For whereas emotions can, and sometimes do, cloud the mind, calm, pure love clarifies it and makes possible the subtlest intuitions. A certain visitor once requested a private interview with Master. On the appointed day he arrived, armed with a long list of what he considered profound questions. "Love God," Master said in answer to the first of them. The man paused a moment, uncomprehendingly, then shrugged and posed his second question. "Love God," Master persisted. Nonplussed, the visitor proceeded to the third deep question on his list. "Love God," came Master's reply once more, this time sternly. Without another word he rose, concluding the interview, and left the room. The intellectual guest never did grasp the relevance of Master's counsel to his questions. Years later, in fact, he became a sort of spiritual teacher in Chicago, and often cited this episode to illustrate, as he put it, that even great masters have their human failings. Paramahansaji was telling him, however, that until he developed love, the doors to true wisdom would remain closed to him. Stern discipline from an all-compassionate master sometimes puzzles devotees. The neophyte, when first his guru treats him to a good scolding, may even ask himself, has he lost his temper? A true master, however, lives on a plane far above such corrosive emotions. Sometimes he may indeed make a show of anger, but if he does so, it is only to emphasize some counsel which, if delivered gently, might not sink in deeply enough. A mother may be obliged similarly to scold her child if he won't heed her gentle admonishments. Which of two mothers, indeed, shows the more genuine love? The one who, if her little child steps off the curb into heavy traffic, admonishes him gently, "I wouldn't do that, Johnny, if I were you," or the one who snatches him back, scolds him, and maybe spanks him lightly to reinforce her counsel? Jean Haupt told me of one occasion when Master was upbraiding one of the nuns in his presence. "You'd have thought the roof would fly off," said Jean, chuckling. Master was pacing the floor, shouting. I was seated at one end of the room, the nun was at the other end. Each time the Master faced her, he emphasized his meaning by a stern look. When he turned his back to her, however, his face relaxed into an amused smile. He didn't stop shouting, but he winked at me before turning back fiercely toward her. Master disciplined only those who accepted his discipline. Otherwise he was the soul of consideration. I remember him sometimes inquiring gently of a new disciple to whom he'd offered mild correction, "You don't mind my saying that, do you?" One of the traits that impressed me most deeply about him was his quality of universal respect. It was a respect born of the deepest concern for the other person's welfare. The veriest stranger was, I am convinced, as dear to him as his own closest disciples. Debi Mukherjee, a young monk from India, told me of an example he had seen of the universality of Master's love. Master had invited him out one afternoon for a drive. They were on their way home near sundown. "Stop the car," Master ordered suddenly. They parked by the curb. He got out and walked back several doors to a small, rather shoddy-looking variety shop. There, to Debbie's astonishment, he selected a number of items, none of them useful. "What on earth can he want with all that junk?" Debbie marveled. At the front counter, the owner, an elderly woman, added up the price. When Master paid it, she burst into tears. "I very badly needed just this sum of money today," she cried. "It is near closing time, and I'd almost given up hope of getting it. Bless you, sir. God himself must have sent you to me in my hour of need." Master's quiet smile alone betrayed his knowledge of her difficulty. He offered no explanation. The purchases, as Debbie had supposed, served no practical purpose thereafter. At first I found it a bit awkward living with someone who was, as I soon discovered, conscious of my innermost thoughts and feelings. nor was space any barrier to his telepathic insights. Wherever his disciples happened to be, he read them like a headline. Boone and Norman told me of an occasion a few weeks before my arrival, when they had travelled by bus together to Encinitas. Their conversation had apparently been somewhat less than edifying. Master met us at the gate, Norman told me. He looked stern. After quoting to us several of our more colourful remarks on the bus, he gave us a good scolding. You've come here to forget worldly things, he said. Spend your time when possible by yourselves, talking to God. When you mix with others, talk more of him. He ended up telling us not to mix with each other. James Collar, another disciple, visited us at about this time from Phoenix, Arizona. Master had appointed him to be the minister of our church there. James, though deeply devoted to God and Guru, had a tendency to be a little casual about hermitage discipline. I was driving from Phoenix to Encinitas recently, James told us, to see Master. It was late at night, and I was getting hungry. After some time I came to a restaurant that was still open and eagerly went in. As bad luck would have it, all they had to serve was hamburgers. What was I to do? I knew Master wanted us to be vegetarians, but still, I was really hungry. Oh, well, I decided finally, he won't know. So I ate 2 hamburgers. After I reached Encinitas, I spoke with Master. At the end of our conversation, he remarked gently, By the way, James, when you're on the highway late at night, and you come to a place that serves nothing but hamburgers, better not eat anything. It may comfort those who have similar problems with self-discipline that Master said James would be spiritually free in this life. His saving grace was deep love for God. Disconcerting though it might have been to live in the company of someone who had free access to the hidden recesses of my mind, I was increasingly grateful for his insight. For here at last I realized was one human being whose misunderstanding I need never fear. Master was my friend, ever firmly and quietly on my side, concerned only with helping me through every error toward the highest understanding. Almost incredibly, moreover, he was exactly the same inwardly to all, no matter what they did, nor how they treated him. His concern was entirely with giving to them, never with receiving from them. He once scolded Reverend Stanley, the minister at the SRF Lake Shrine. But please, sir, Stanley pleaded, you will forgive me, won't you? Well, Master replied astonished, what else can I do? I never knew him to hold a grudge. There was a man who, for years, out of intense jealousy, had slandered Master. One day, a few days before the end of Master's life, the 2 of them met at a formal gathering. Remember, Master said, gazing into the man's eyes with deep forgiveness, I will always love you. I saw the man later gazing at Master with deep love and admiration. A photograph of that encounter appears in the published story of Master's Mahasamadhi, or final conscious exit from his body. Master's counsel to people, born as it was of divine love, was always particular to their needs. Seeing me one day on the grounds, he advised me, do not get excited or impatient, Walter. Go with slow speed. Only he who knew my private thoughts and meditation could have perceived the galloping zeal with which I had embarked on the spiritual path. It was not an attitude that I displayed outwardly. Toward the end of September he invited me to Encinitas, where he said he would be spending the next week or so. There a small group of us meditated with him one evening in the peaceful salon of the Hermitage, overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Sitting in his presence, I felt as though some powerful magnet were uplifting my entire being and concentrating it at the point between the eyebrows. The thought came to me, no wonder the Indian scriptures praise above all else the uplifting influence of a true guru. Never by my unaided efforts alone could I have plunged into meditation so suddenly or so deeply. Soon thereafter, Master invited me to 29 Palms, where he said he was planning to go for a period of seclusion. Here it was, over the years, that I accumulated my most precious memories of him.
So here we are. We did go through the other, it's good to, before we start discussing, a couple of pages before we read today, some important nuggets from what Master had given during one of his talk. And a couple of things. He had said, behind every rose bush of pleasure hides a rattlesnake of pain. So what he was trying to, again, we'll just summarize it, that if we try to look for pleasure or, get too excited with the pleasures that this world is giving us, it's invariably going to lead us into pain. Anything of this world, right? Not very soon, or it will take its own time, or even some other incarnation. But the point is, this world is made for that duality only. So for every high, there has to be low. There will be low. There is no other way to this. So if we ride the waves up and down, we will go up very happy, very with a pleasure, and then crash down. So the whole point is to be in the center. And he says, he urged us to seek our pleasures in God, because that's being in the center, right? Then he said there are two kinds of poor people, one who are materially poor and others who might be materially very rich, but they're indifferent to they're selfish, they're indifferent to truth and to God. And he counseled that it is better to be materially poor and have God in your heart than to be materially wealthy without him. Never say that you are a sinner. Again, he always used to say that, don't identify with your mistakes or with the errors, but, start working on it. It's not like you say, okay, you just keep doing mistakes and then saying, no, I'm not a sinner. But, work towards a betterment, but always have that as the goal rather than, going on concentrating on the sins. So he says it is to affirm sinfulness is also a sin. To call yourself a sinner is the greatest sin before God. What does that mean? God is not looking at us as, he's not judging us. He is, just today we heard all the things that God is all about love. God loves us. It is we ourselves who judge ourselves. So the more we let that go and, keep the pole star as the guru and what we really want to be and start working towards it is what is very important. Okay. And some more important takeaways from the last one was, for the beauties we seek in this world, we can never be found except in him. What we are seeking, we can never find it in this world. So to experience them, we must first be dutiful to his will. Tune into God, Guru. When we say, we can interchange it, right? A Guru, self-realized master, is a pure channel of God. So doing that, Sri Yukteswar also said in Autobiography of a Yogi, right? Allow me to discipline you. When Master had just come and Master said, why, sir? And he said, Sri Yukteswar said, because people, all of us who haven't found God, function with, through our whims and fancies, likes and dislikes. The more we act based on my like, I don't like this, I like that, the more we will be bound. The more we attune ourselves to the divine will of the Guru, of the divine himself, we are unshackled of these bonds, right? And that is the reason he's saying dutifully do his duty, God's duty, Guru, his will. I mean, only then can we rise above self. So one more important counsel he gave: never go to bed at night until you have convinced your mind that this world is God's dream. So the whole day, this world, this is a battlefield, right? As Kurukshetra, for as Krishna said, and as Master said, that Kurukshetra war is not something that just had some few thousand years back. Yes, that did happen. It was a historical thing also, but that story, whatever we read in the Mahabharata or the Bhagavad Gita, counsel of Krishna, it is deeply allegorical also. So that war is a war that we fight every day, every single day, every moment of our life. We are fighting this battle of Kurukshetra between our higher aspirations, which take us to God, and our materially bound wishes and aspirations that keep us bound to this world, to Maya, and to that makes us keep coming back in the cycle of life and death. So that is why Master always used to counsel that after the day has ended, just before you go off to sleep, he said, introspect. In today's battle of Kurukshetra, who won? Which aspect of me won? Or even in go over the events of the day and see which aspect of my consciousness won. Was it my higher aspiration that would take me to God, or what was I bound? I acted. So there are only two ways. There is either you affirm God or you reject God. So which one won that day? And again, not to judge, but he said, offer it all to God. When you wake up in the morning, he said, it's like, thank you, God, for allowing me to live this. What do you want me to do? What do you want happened through me today? And when you go off to sleep, I'll offer that day back to God, saying it was your day, good or bad, whatever I did, it was through your inspiration that I did, and give it all back and sleep a free man. So it is like that. He said that when in one incarnation death comes and then we are born again, he said treat every night as a death, and every next day morning is a new day for us to again try once more to uplift ourselves, to evolve faster. Sure. Okay, so these are the things that we ended last time. So in this one, he's talking about Master is introducing Swami Kriyananda to the congregation, and he calls him Walter, where Swamiji had never heard anyone call him that. So he's thinking this must be some other Walter, some other person also who has come from New York, only to realize it was himself. And he says beautifully that, Walter was a name. Master called me there. Ever thereafter, no one else used this name. Until after Master's earthly passing, I longed for every possible reminder of those precious years with him. I then asked my brothers and sisters on the path to call me by that name. So it was such a beautiful relationship. So here, again, the councils where Swami Kriyananda and another brother monk, they start on this grapefruit grapefruit diet. It's not like Master is against diets. He's also given Master's 9-day diet for purifying and all. But here it's a very important thing that, there are in today's world, there are all kinds of diets going around, keto diet, this diet, that diet. Everybody is claiming that you do this, then you'll be free of, your immunity will be strong, you lose weight. So in the process, a lot of people try a lot of things. But what is Master counseling here? Devotion is the greatest purifier. Don't get caught up, especially we are who are on this path. He's saying that, don't get too caught up. Moderation is the key. So a pure heart is the way to God, not a pure stomach. So Swamiji then, kind of starts losing heart in that diet. But again, despite having said that, he is saying, I don't want to break your will. So he says, continue as long as you feel like continuing. So this is so beautiful. He's still giving him a free will. It's not, Master is not saying, oh, no, stop. You don't have to do all that. He says, he just gives him a counsel. A pure heart is the way to God, not a pure stomach. But then again, he says, I don't want to break your will. Continue. And, leave whenever you feel like. And then Swamiji left it because he realized that, it doesn't make sense once Master has not really sanctioned it. He's saying, it wasn't long, however, before I took up the infinitely more rewarding, though also far more demanding task of deepening my love for God. That is all Master would keep saying. And Swami Kriyananda, when he came on the path, he was very intellectual. Master would keep saying that, you're too intellectual. Develop devotion. Devotion can be developed. That's the main point. Many of us feel that, am I devotional? I'm not devotional. Many of us say that. Doesn't matter. What he's saying is you can develop devotion. How? By chanting. Master used to say, chanting is half the battle. It is a very important tool that all of us should understand, that it will help us. If we go on to read that without love, without the natural love of heart, we cannot, progress. So it is very, very, very important to develop the devotion. And Master gave chanting and holding constantly. These are the two things. How can we develop devotion? By chanting and holding constantly to the thought of God's presence in my heart. So, this is something all of us, how. So, these are the two things Master had given, the tool, chant and holding constantly to the thought of God's presence in my heart, practicing the presence of God. It says mental habits, alas, are not so easy to change as to think about changing. Just by thinking, we have to put out that energy. Just by thinking or, saying that, oh, I am now on the path, now Master will take care. No. Master gave a formula. 25% is the devotee's effort. 25% Master does on our behalf. And through the Master's effort for us, grace, 50% God's grace comes. So the formula 100%, this is how it works. But we have to put our 100% into that 25% that is allotted to us. So we have to do our part for, inviting Master's effort for us, or for him to take care of the rest of the things. Get devotion, he would tell me. You must have devotion. He is, telling this again and again. You must have. So what he has told Swamiji, we have come to this path through Swamiji, right? So he is our window. So the counsel that Master has given Swamiji, kind of, it works for us. Each and everything. So when, you feel that, Swami, he's talking to Swamiji, think that he's talking to me, to you. Each one of us, he's spoken this. Get devotion. You must have devotion. And then he says, thou dost, like Jesus has said, thou dost not reveal thyself unto the prudent and the wise, but unto babes. It's a simple, pure love of heart. We all know that story of Shabri, right? When Lord Ram, after Ravan had taken away Sita, and they were going in search, he and his brother Lakshman, and he comes across this, this old lady, who has her hut. In that whole lane, on all the forest, in fact, there are a lot of saints who are, meditating, who are doing yagya. And here was this old lady. She didn't know anything. She was not well versed in the scriptures. All that she knew was she used to serve at this saint's ashram. And when the saint left there, he said, Shabri, you be here. Lord will come. That is all. You be here, Lord will come. Every day, that lady would sweep the ground that led to the small kutir that she had. Every day, beautify that place, because her guru said Lord will come. So she didn't doubt, and it took years for God to come. But did he come? Of course. And he came only to her kutir. He didn't go to any of those saints and ones who knew Vedas and scriptures. He went straight to Shabri's kutir. And there, what did she give? She gave him bear. She would taste and give. I mean, anybody else would say, oh my God, Prashad, how can you do that? Bhagwan ko chadane ke pehle, how can you have? But for her, it was simple love of heart. She was like, how will I offer if it is sour? So she would taste. Is this one sweet? Yes, this is sweet. She will give it to Lord. He took. He didn't mind, because he only saw the love of her heart. So he took each one of them. So this is the most important thing. So, and he says that Swami Sri Yukteswar, a saint of wisdom, if such ever existed. So even though Sri Yukteswar seems like, very wise, and in his book, The Holy Science, what he wrote, after, there's so much of calculation and about yugas and so much things. How does it work? Where is the equinox and which yuga are you in? And all that, mind-boggling calculations, and how is a human body formed and all that. End of it, it's a small book, and end of it, he says, I hope through this book, I have been able to make the reader understand that you can't keep even one step forward on the spiritual path without the natural love of heart. And you are like, really? You go back and read every sentence. He is only talking about love. We skip it because we are trying to understand all the calculations that he has put here. Every sentence is God's love. God's love. And in that book only, he had talked about 8 meannesses of heart. He says, this heart's natural love is a principal thing to attain a holy life. It is impossible for man to advance a step towards salvation without it. And he spoke about 8 meannesses of heart. He said, if all of us have that, it's a natural love, is there in all our hearts, right? What kind of blocks us from manifesting that love are the 8 kind of meannesses, which is like fear, shame, pride of pedigree, pride of the race, all these things are the things that kind of, it's like muddled us, our heart, and, not allowing us to express that love that each one of us has. All we have to do is undo these obstacles. The more we let them go, it just manifests, right? So again, when we talk about the present age, he says, alas, perhaps even more than most, affords all too little encouragement for developing the all-surrendering love which saints have ever praised. Mawkish sentimentalism is a common judgment on deep positive feelings of any kind. So, we have to let this go. Judgment also was one of the 8 meannesses of heart that Sri Yukteswar had mentioned. So, okay. And he's talking here, Swamiji writes about even the scientists, scientific outlook, people with so-called scientific outlook. He says an unfeeling heart is often taken as evidence of a scientific outlook. But, somebody who is trying to discover something or, working at it, they cannot reach to the core of what they are trying to, understand unless they go to the heart of it. It reveals itself the moment that person tries to tune into, goes into the center of that concept or thing that they are trying to work with, even in the scientific discovery. Even Einstein said that he said, or most of his discoveries said they came to me in a flash, or they land. It's not like he was just sitting and it landed. The more he kept, tuning into it, that thing revealed itself to him. So it is, even for making those scientific discoveries, they need to tune in. That's most important. So he says, when this certain visitor, so-called a very intellectual man, came and started interviewing Master again and again. It's not like Master wouldn't answer people, right? In this case, he realized that this person was coming from a very judgmental and very intellectual way. That's why Master kept putting into him, love God, love God. That is all that matters. Loving God is all that matters. But the man didn't get it. And he says that later on he became some spiritual guru. And he said that, even masters have their human feelings. So he didn't get it. And I mean, even if he became some sort of spiritual teacher, what kind of a teacher is he going to be? If he didn't get that point that Master was time and again trying to imprint on him. Paramahamsa Ji was telling him, however, that until he developed love, the doors of true wisdom would remain closed to him. So even if we want to develop wisdom, it cannot happen till we love God. That's all it is all about. It's the love of the heart reveals the wisdom to us. So that is all we need to develop. We want to progress on the spiritual path. That is all that is needed. Developing devotion. And how? By practicing the presence of God with us in our hearts, chanting. Okay, stern discipline from an all-compassionate master sometimes puzzles devotees. Here again, very, very important point. He says that a mother may be obliged to scold her child if he won't heed her gentle admonitions. And he is saying that which mother is the better one? If the child is trying to run off the curb and, the buses are coming, a mother who is like, no, baby, no, you shouldn't do that, or the one who just brings him back and spanks. And that is what exactly the Divine Mother also does to us, right? When we are going too much off the track, she is not going to be very soft. She's going to give us some very hard lessons. So whenever, we are going through some trying times, say, thank you, Divine Mother. I know you're trying to teach me some lesson, even if many times we don't understand what is that. But even that wisdom, give me the wisdom. Ask her from the love of your heart. The more you love her, she will reveal what is that lesson for us. What is this that, because Master also said, I'm not here to, clean the mud puddle for you. I'm here to take you out of that mud puddle. So, even if he has to give some harsh lessons, he would. So, try to get understanding from what is the lesson if I'm going through anything, rather than, oh, why this has happened to me. Thank Master saying that, okay, it has come to me, help me to understand so that, I can put it away, done and dusted, move. I can progress on the spiritual path. And where Jean hopped when he says that Master, when that nun, because she was not getting it. I mean, he must have said it n number of times nicely and other ways to make her understand. She was not getting the point. So Master was scolding her. He says that he was pacing the floor, shouting. And when he would turn the other side, he would wink at him, and then turn back and then again shout at her. Why? Because that was the only way she would have got it. So if, he is the Divine Mother, right? If that is how a devotee is going to be trained, he'll give it. But again, this thing that he was mentioning, that he would be shouting at her, but when he turned back, he would smile and wink at me. What did that mean? It means that Master loves everyone, right? He's not holding, it's not an emotion, like his angry emotion. It is not that. She needed that for her to understand and progress on the spiritual path. He was just giving it the way she would understand. It wasn't any emotional outburst that he was going through. He is still loving her also. And it is her highest potential that he is aiming for when he is doing that, right? So, okay. So he says, Master disciplined, again, this is very important. Master disciplined only those who accepted his discipline. Otherwise, He was a soul of consideration. When, he says that any new disciple who would come, to whom he'd often mild correction, even if he offered, he said, you don't mind saying that, do you? Swamiji always used to say that, he told Master, correct me, Master. I mean, that is why we have come on the path, right? Because we want to further, progress on the spiritual journey. We have taken discipleship of this great Guru, self-realized Master and Avatar. And we have, when we take the discipleship vow, we say, okay, when we do that the purification ceremony, when we say, I seek purification by the grace of God, Master says, open your heart to me. I will enter and take charge of your life, right? When we allow him to come in, then he would take charge of our life. And in that, if he has to discipline us, he will do that. We have given him that right. And we should be grateful that he has taken that kind of responsibility for each one of us. It's a huge responsibility, right? In fact, when Master said that Sri Yukteswar, he was very tough. Sri Yukteswar was very, very tough on him and other disciples also, and many ran, he said. But Master said, I stayed back because he wanted to be free. And he said that, it was very difficult. He said, many times I shook under that kind of discipline that he was going through. But it took a lot to, Sri Yukteswar, I'm not saying the right words, he said, every psychological truth he uprooted. He said, I shook under that, this thing. But then what came out of it was a Paramhansa. He made a Paramhansa out of Mukunda, right? Paramhansa Yogananda is the highest this thing. It was not a title. It was what he had achieved, experienced, what he had become, right? So he says that, Swami said that, do it, discipline me. And each one of us should be grateful he has taken that responsibility, as I said. So he says, one of the traits that impressed me most deeply about him was his quality of universal respect. It was a respect born of the deepest concern for other people's welfare. Master was not, identifying us with our personalities, this outer personality, the so-called self-definitions that we have all developed or think we are. But he was seeing that soul, which is, we are all sons of God. We are made in the image of God. He was communicating to us into that. So there was this intense respect that he had for each one of them, though outwardly that person may be, completely what many would say, oh my God, that person, how can, that person he'll be respecting. But even then, even somebody who was very foolish, he would still respect that person. And he says, veriest stranger was, I was convinced, as dear to him as his own closest disciples. And that's how the story that lady's shop, he goes, he knew that she needed help. Randomly, he goes there and helps her. And she starts crying. She says, bless you, sir. God himself must have sent. And Master didn't say anything. He just quietly smiled and came away. Devi, who was watching it, he knew there was something else that had happened there. And Swamiji says, I soon discovered, he says, at first I found it a bit awkward living with someone who was, as I soon discovered, conscious of my innermost thoughts and feelings. And then all the stories of how Master would tell them, because these guys who think that Master is not around, so they talk anything, or how this person coming from Phoenix has the hamburger, Master points out. And Master said, I know every thought that each one of you is thinking. God knows every thought that each one of us is thinking or doing, even the habits, the good, the bad. Who are we hiding from? Where do we go and hide? We think nobody is seeing, and we do certain things. God is watching, Master is watching. So he says, nor was space any barrier to his telepathic insight. Wherever his disciples happened to be, he read them like a headline. Breaking news. Okay, Jayanti has done this, or so-and-so has done this. He reads us like a headline. There's nothing to hide from him. Nowhere can we hide from him. And isn't that, it can be scary, but at the same time, it's such a relief. There's this one person, or this guru who knows me inside out. I can be just myself. I don't have, to the rest of the world, we can have veils on our face and people accept us the way we act. With him, there is no acting. We are just who we are, and he knows us. We can do whatever we want to. We can try to put whatever veils. He knows us exactly who we are, and that too, he knows us to he is trying to bring us to our highest potential. He knows who we are. We are that soul that with infinite potential. We are the ones, we are the sons of God. We are made in the image of God. And that is what he's trying to unravel in each one of us, right? So, and when he is telling these people, he scolds the boys who are talking, he says colorful remarks we made, or James, for it was not to catch hold of, oh, you did that. It's just that to make them understand, I know everything that you're thinking. Get away, start, he's saying, spend your time when possible by yourself talking to God. When you mix with others, talk more of him. He ended up telling us not to mix with even with each other. So he's saying, satsanga, when you are, that is why he said, be in satsang, where you are with truth seekers. And when we are in satsang, what should we do? Not some random talk or, just having jolly time together. When you mix with others, talk more often. Not just while away time. Very important. Oh, I am with my Guru Bhais. And doing what? What are you talking about? We all need to keep thinking on these terms and be very careful, calibrate. If we are, going away on this, just bring it all back. These are very important teachings for each one of us. What should we do? Okay, even when we are with sincere truth seekers, with our Guru Bhais, what should we be doing? Not just whiling away time, talk more often. Talk of God, talk of Guru. Discuss this. This is what he's saying. Not to just mix with each other. That's very important. Okay, so, and when he's talking about James, he said that it may comfort those who have similar problems with self-discipline. Many of us go through that. The master said, James, who was less on that self-discipline part, would be spiritually free in this life. Why? How? Saving grace was deep love for God. This chapter is all about, just develop love for God. Everything else will fall into place. And here he's saying that, Master, for here at last, he says, I realized was one human being whose misunderstanding I never need fear. Now, Master is not going to misunderstand us. Master was my friend. It's such a beautiful term. He's saying, I was increasingly grateful for his insights. For here, at last, I realized was one human being whose misunderstanding I never need fear. Master was my friend, ever firmly and quietly by my side. For each one of us, he is our friend, ever firmly and quietly by my side, concerned only with helping me through every error toward the highest understanding. Amazing. This is beautiful. So that's what I'm saying, when we are reading for what Swamiji is perceiving Master as, it's the same for us. He's the same for us. He loves us equally. Even those people, as he said, this man who used to all his life, He was criticizing, he was spreading bad rumors about Master. And Master, this was just before Master was to leave the body. He says, when he met him in that banquet, he says he looks very deeply, gazed into the man's eyes with deep forgiveness. And he says, I will always love you. And Swamiji says that, he was around, Swamiji was around. I saw the man later gazing at Master with deep love and admiration, and I'm sure regret. And when Stanley, he'd done something wrong and Master scolded him, he says, you will forgive me, won't you? What else can I do? I mean, what beautiful love is that? What else can I do? I mean, not forgive you, Master. God always forgives. Guru always forgives. Guru is ever loving, unconditional love. Even, for that's the prayer Master has given, to Divine Mother, naughty or good, I'm thy child. That is, that's a prayer for Master also. For us, he is our Divine Mother. Naughty or good, I'm thy child. So, okay, it's a Master's counsel to people born as it is of divine love was always particular to their needs. Each one of us has a different journey, right? So nothing, it's not there are general instructions, there are general teachings, but he would guide each one differently based on what is their particular journey. So now Master is not in the body. What do? Tune in. Love in your heart and chanting, practicing the presence of the Master all the time, attunement, meditate deeply, and do all that he has counseled us. He will guide us in our unique journey to God that each one of us is walking. And he is walking with us, with each one of us. To Swamiji, he says, do not get excited or impatient, Walter. Go with slow speed. And Swamiji said, I don't know how, of course he knew. He says, this is not something, this attitude he had not displayed outwardly. So obviously, Master had gone into his, deeper layers of his attitudes or his mind and picked it up. The more we invite him in, the more he'll be able to guide us and, be there for us. Okay. Okay, he says, last page, the thought came to me, no wonder the Indian scriptures praise above all else the uplifting influence of a true guru. Never by my unaided efforts alone could I have plunged into meditation so suddenly or so deeply. It's very important. Master Adi Shankaracharya had mentioned that in all these, the three worlds, is nothing more precious than having a guru, a self-realized guru. And Master said in that poem of his Samadhi poem, he says, by deeper, longer, thirsty, guru-given meditation comes this celestial Samadhi. Let us not fool ourselves. We have to do our part. We do everything to be in tune with the Guru. And our part is to sit down and meditate. That's our part. How deep will it be? Is what the Guru gives. Deeper, longer, thirsty Guru-given meditation. Samadhi is going to come only through the intervention of Guru. He brings that 50% grace of God. Let us remember this. So with that, the most important thing, love God, love God, love God. This whole chapter is all about loving God. So let us all, that's our takeaway, that we start. If we aren't already chanting, start chanting. Listening to chant with it. Keep running those chants in your mind throughout the day as we go through the, our mundane life. To practice the presence of God and Gurus, to keep chanting and just love. And that I'll put in the group also the 8 meannesses of heart that Sri Yukteswar said that we all need to let go of for the natural love of heart to manifest. So all that is what is very important. This is a beautiful chapter. And Master said, meditate, meditate, meditate. Swamiji, when we saw in the starting of this chapter, used to meditate 2 to 3 hours in the morning, afternoon before lunch, half hour, evening again 2 to 3 hours. On weekends, he would meditate more. Jayaji, Nayaswami Jaya used to say, when you have, the body is allowing, meditate as much as old age. Who knows, if you can even sit down to meditate. So it's very important to use this time to meditate and, deepen our spiritual quest that we are all trying to walk. So with that, thank you for joining. Next class, we will do the next chapter. Okay.
Thank you, Jayanti.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
ma'am. Pranam, ma'am. So beautiful.